Hello, welcome to Steak Insanity. I'm your host, David, and this show is about my carnivore journey. Today, we're going to talk about day 3 and day 4 of my lion diet. And I think the two things, or the couple things I really want to touch on are my check-in on my weight, so we can see what's going on there, and to talk about a little bit of exercise. So, first of all, if you guys really are interested in the actual details, I have all of my carbs, my fat, and my protein intake that I do every day. Maybe actually I'll just put that in the notes, so if people are interested, you can read it. Otherwise, I get bored even talking about it myself, so I assume that you guys get bored with that as well. But so far, from 3 days of dieting, I've lost 6 pounds. So 2 pounds a day on average, I think is pretty good. I'm not eating a tremendous amount of calories, I was around 13 to 1500. I'm now more around 1100. And that's just because I'm not hungry. So I've decided if I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. I'm not getting a tremendous amount of exercise at the same time. So I'm not too worried about needing some extra calories. That's going to change next week because I do plan on going back to the gym. And so I am going to have a little bit more. So at the minute, I'm having 2 meals a day. I'll probably go to getting up early in the morning, having something before I go to work, and also cooking something for me to have at lunchtime. And then I'll have an evening meal when I get home. So I should have some more calories, and that should get back to normal a little bit next week. But that being said, I did go for an hour-long walk yesterday. So my wife works not too far from where we live, so I was working from home and just thought I would like to get some steps in. So half an hour walk over to see her, hung around for 20-25 minutes while she had some lunch, and then walked back home. So that was really, really nice to get out. It's been near freezing in the UK, and so it was quite cold out, and that was actually nice to get out and have a brisk walk. The sun was out, the clouds had broken for a change, so those of you who live in cold climates or up in the north will appreciate those days where we actually have clear sun, but it also means that it usually gets bitterly cold, which is what's happened. So pretty happy with that. I talked about the other day that I've been quite hungry, or I was hungry the first couple of days. That's pretty much subsided, which has been nice. I did have a lot of symptoms coming off caffeine when I came off of caffeine just after Christmas. And what's been really interesting is the last few days, I've also had the same sort of massive kind of almost felt like a tension headache. And I wonder, because that's now starting to go away as well, and I wonder if that was me coming off of things like sugar and all the other stuff, and milk, probably sugar, but literally just coming off of everything else and going meat only. And I've been very, very strict on that. So it has been literally beef only for the past few days. So I'm quite proud of myself for that. It's the first time I've ever been super, super strict. I have water and I drink peppermint tea. And I can't even really drink peppermint tea because it's so cold. If you don't literally drink it in about 5 minutes, then it's like just drinking cold peppermint flavored water. So I've pretty much decided that unless it's first thing in the morning and I want to get up and have something nice and warm to drink to kind of warm up, I'm just going to drink water. So I am literally very strict on the diet this time. So yeah, it's been quite interesting. So I wonder if that pain and the headache and that sort of stuff was actually related to just maybe the sugar. Because I've always had, even when I did carnivore last time, I had a little bit of sugar every day. And I was just like, well, the sugar it doesn't bother me. And if I'm working out and everything else, and if I'm not eating anything else, just to have a little kind of a half of a teaspoon of sugar in my teas and stuff, I didn't see any issue with that. But now I'm starting to wonder. So, and this was part of the experiment. So I'm going to do this for a while. I'm definitely going to do it for a month. And then I want to see how I feel at the end of the month and how much trouble it's been. And how expensive it is. It is expensive, but I haven't sat down and worked it out, but I would like to. I don't know if anybody else, any of the other sort of carnivore keto people have actually really sat down and line itemed their grocery bills to say, if you were eating a normal diet, this is what your average grocery bill would be. And if you're just eating meat only, here's what your average grocery bill would be. I don't know if anybody's worked that out. What I do know is that for me personally, that I don't go to the coffee shop anymore. So that was pretty much every day I went to the coffee shop and got a latte. And so that was somewhere between $3 and $4.50 every day that I was spending on coffee at a minimum, some days twice. So that's, 6 or 8 pounds I'm spending. If you call it 5, then that's 25 pounds a week that I'm not spending on coffee now. That's a massive difference in the budget. And considering I'm not having any snacks, even peanuts or anything like that, and I'm taking my lunch, so I'm not paying 10 pounds a day for lunch. I am obviously eating steak and I'm eating meat that I've bought, but those steaks I got the other day, I haven't done the math. Let me do the math quickly. But anyway, I know that there's been an offset in cost. And when I was talking to my wife about it, she was a little shocked at how much money I'd spent on beef. But I was like, but I'm not buying coffee. So literally the money that I spent on my meat is almost exactly what I was spending on coffee. And so that's a wash, considering, and if you take into account that I'm not drinking any of the milk, I'm not eating any of the other food in the house, it's going to help our grocery bill go down, because if she's only buying for her and my son, then they're going to have probably half as much milk and a load less stuff to buy. So let me just do a quick calculation here, because I got 16 steaks out of that beef that I bought the other day. That was 80 pounds. So I can't do the math and try and talk at the same time, sorry. So 80 divided by 16 is 5. So yeah, so that's 5 pounds per steak. And that would cost 6 or 8 pounds if I bought it from the grocery store. So I've cut my lunch expense in half, and I've removed all of my coffee expenses. So that in itself pays pretty much for my diet. And then if you think about that and all the other stuff. So what I was thinking of doing is looking at the grocery bills that we have, and if I take everything except the protein, because they still do, obviously they buy bacon, they buy sausages, they buy chicken, we eat pork and all that sort of stuff. So I need to look at that, but I'm going to do it against carnivore, maybe not lion diet specifically, or maybe I should. Maybe I'll do both. So what I'll do is I'll take a look at it and I'll go, okay, well, if I was at home, what of that stuff would I buy? None of it. So if we spend 100 pounds a week or 140 pounds a week on groceries, I'm not eating any of that. Literally none of it. So if I'm spending 80 pounds a week just on my meat, there you go. So you've got 60 pound savings just from that. And we don't have all the usage, and I feel better and everything else. So that's just a rough calculation off the top of my head, but I was thinking I would look into it. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know in the comments, and I'll work up some numbers, maybe keep track of it in a spreadsheet or something over a month, and then see what that looks like. So I'll try and calculate some savings, and I'll do that, and I'll come back and report on that at the end of the month. So that'll be part of the end of the month report. And I don't really have too much else to say. I know a lot of people have started. There's a couple of other sort of YouTubers and podcasters who talk about keto diets and stuff like that, and I know that they're starting some of theirs over again as well. So there's a few of us doing that. I think it's Carnivore Can and some other ones. But because I've done it before, I kind of knew what to expect. And I don't feel any different. I do feel better. My joints feel better and all that stuff. I think we talked about that. But yeah, no, it's okay at the moment. And I haven't had too much stress. I haven't had much temptation. I've been quite good with it. So I think we'll just leave it there for today. We'll see how I get on. And yeah, we'll see what happens next. And I'll try to check in tomorrow. Anyway, see you later. Hope your diet stays well. And see you soon. Bye-bye.